When most people think of pirates today, the image that comes to mind often resembles Hollywood's portrayal of the golden age of piracy, with wooden ships, cutlasses, and notorious figures like Blackbeard or Jack Sparrow terrorizing merchant convoys in the Caribbean. Yet piracy is not just a relic of history. In the modern era, the waters off Somalia, the Gulf of Aden, and parts of the Indian Ocean have become notorious for pirate attacks on commercial vessels, tankers, and even fishing boats. Armed with AK-47s, rocket-propelled grenades, and high-speed skiffs, these pirates often attempt to capture ships, hold crews hostage, and demand multi-million-dollar ransoms. You may think that U.S. aircraft carriers are immune to pirates, and that no pirate would dare try to attack the carriers. But as ambitious as they are, pirates sometimes forget that there are no-go zones in their piracy, and they have been reckless enough to challenge the biggest navy in the world, just as the famous pirates of the Caribbean once tested the might of the British Navy when Britain was the dominant power on the ocean. The United States Navy, with its aircraft carriers, guided missile cruisers, destroyers, and frigates, operates globally. Beyond defending U.S. interests, its warships have played a crucial role in deterring piracy. While most attacks on U.S. Navy vessels have ended swiftly and decisively in favor of American forces, they illustrate both the audacity of pirates and the military procedures in place to respond when confronted. Two incidents stand out as case studies in how the U.S. military reacts when its ships are attacked by pirates. The 2010 attack on USS Nicholas, FFG-47, in the Indian Ocean, and the action of 18 March 2006, involving USS Cape St. George, CG-71, and USS Gonzales, DDG-66, off the Somali coast. Both events highlight the dangers of maritime piracy and the firm measures taken by the U.S. Navy to ensure that attacks on its warships end not with damage or loss of life for Americans, but with pirates captured or neutralized. To understand the audacity of pirates, let's start with the 2010 USS Nicholas pirate attack. On the night of March 31st, 2010, in the western Indian Ocean, west of the Seychelles, a group of Somali pirates launched an assault that would quickly become one of the most memorable modern encounters between pirates and the U.S. Navy. The pirates had mistaken a U.S. Navy Oliver Hazard Perry-class guided missile frigate, the USS Nicholas FFG-47, for a commercial vessel. This error would prove costly, as the Nicholas was far from helpless prey. The attackers operated from a small skiff, a common tactic among Somali pirate groups at the time. These nimble boats, often launched from larger motherships, could travel far into the ocean and close distance rapidly. Equipped with small arms and at least one rocket-propelled grenade, the pirates assumed they were about to surprise a merchant ship with no real defensive capabilities. They could not have been more wrong. As the skiff approached and weapons were brandished, the pirates unleashed gunfire and an RPG at the Nicholas. For any commercial tanker or container ship, such firepower could have been devastating. But U.S. Navy warships are designed and drilled for far worse. The Nicholas immediately returned fire using mounted machine guns, neutralizing the threat with overwhelming precision. The firefight was brief. Within minutes, the pirate skiff was disabled and sinking. Despite their aggressive opening, the pirates had little chance of escape. The Nicholas's crew swiftly moved to secure the scene. 3 pirates were captured directly from the skiff. Shortly after, U.S. sailors located a mothership in the vicinity and conducted a boarding. 2 more pirates were taken into custody there, along with supplies and equipment used to support the skiff operations. This 2-pronged seizure eliminated the entire pirate group involved in the attack. With the pirates detained, the Nicholas sank the disabled skiff to prevent it from posing a navigational hazard or being reused. The mothership, though initially spared, was also rendered inoperable to ensure it could not be used to launch further raids. The rapid and decisive U.S. Navy action not only neutralized the immediate threat, but also sent a clear message across the region. Attacking American warships would never end in ransom or riches, only in capture or death. The 5 captured pirates were transported to the United States for trial. In Norfolk, Virginia, they faced federal charges of piracy. The trial was historic in many ways, as it underscored the U.S. government's determination to treat piracy not just as a nuisance, but as a serious international crime with grave penalties. In the end, the pirates were convicted of piracy and sentenced to mandatory life imprisonment. These sentences were intended not only as punishment, but also as deterrence, broadcasting a warning to other pirate groups operating off Somalia's coast. While the 2010 USS Nicholas encounter showed how pirates could mistakenly target a U.S. warship, the 2006 skirmish involving USS Cape St. George, CG-71, and USS Gonzales, DDG-66, demonstrated how U.S. forces react when pirates open fire directly on Navy boarding teams. This incident, often referred to as the Action of 18 March 2006, occurred during a routine maritime security patrol in one of the most volatile waters in the world, the Indian Ocean off the coast of Somalia. By 2006, piracy in the waters near Somalia had escalated into a major international security challenge. Dozens of merchant ships had been hijacked, and international navies, including the U.S., were conducting Combined Task Force 150 operations, a coalition-led mission focused on maritime security. On March 18th, USS Cape St. George, a Ticonderoga-class guided missile cruiser, and USS Gonzales, an Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer, were on patrol when they detected a suspicious vessel towing 2 smaller skiffs. The setup matched the classic mothership pirate profile. Following protocol, the Navy prepared a boarding team from the Gonzales to conduct a routine inspection. Boarding teams are highly trained for maritime interdiction, moving swiftly in rigid-hull inflatable boats, RHIBS, to approach and search suspect vessels. But this time, the pirates were not willing to surrender. As the U.S. team neared, the suspects brandished rocket-propelled grenades, RPGs, and opened fire on the Navy vessels. The attack prompted an immediate U.S. response. Both the Cape St. George and the Gonzales returned fire with small arms and mounted weapons. In the chaos of battle, a tracer round struck a fuel drum aboard the pirate vessel, igniting it and setting the boat ablaze. The clash was intense, but short-lived. 1 pirate was killed outright, 5 were wounded, and others scrambled in panic as their vessel burned. Despite the ferocity of the pirate attack, no U.S. sailors were injured, a testament to the Navy's training and the robust defensive posture of American warships. After the skirmish, Navy forces took 12 suspected pirates into custody, securing them aboard the U.S. ships. Unlike the 2010 Nicholas case, however, the suspects were not transported to the United States for trial. After an assessment by U.S. authorities, the government determined that repatriation was the most appropriate course of action. Piracy at sea, particularly in regions such as the Horn of Africa, the Gulf of Aden, and the Indian Ocean, has forced naval powers to adapt old traditions of maritime security to modern threats. For the U.S. Navy, whose fleet includes everything from guided missile destroyers to nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, the threat of small pirate skiffs may appear minor. However, naval doctrine treats every armed confrontation seriously, whether it comes from rival nation-states or groups of pirates with rifles and RPGs. The first layer of defense against pirates begins long before a shot is fired. U.S. Navy warships use an array of detection and surveillance systems to track suspicious vessels. Advanced radar and sonar can pick up small skiffs at considerable distances, while sailors posted as lookouts scan the horizon day and night with binoculars and night vision gear. From the air, helicopters such as the MH-60R Seahawk extend the ship's view, monitoring surface contacts and relaying real-time intelligence. Increasingly, unmanned aerial vehicles provide persistent overwatch, giving commanders a wide view of small craft movements across the ocean. This combination makes it difficult for pirates to achieve surprise. Once a suspicious vessel is spotted, U.S. warships operate under strict rules of engagement. Crews begin by hailing the vessel over radio or loudspeaker to establish intent. If the response is unclear or evasive, the ship may reposition itself or send a helicopter to shadow the skiff as a show of force. Non-lethal deterrents, such as warning shots or the use of devices like the long-range acoustic device, can be employed to drive off hostile crews with powerful sound. Only when a vessel demonstrates unmistakable hostile intent by brandishing weapons, firing, or ignoring lawful orders do U.S. forces escalate to lethal measures. When force becomes necessary, U.S. Navy ships are well prepared. Even on routine patrols, they carry layered defensive firepower designed to counter fast-moving small boats. Machine guns, including .50 caliber and M240s, are mounted at multiple points around the ship to create overlapping fields of fire. Security teams with crew-served weapons stand ready to engage threats, while armed details carry rifles and sidearms for close-range encounters or boarding actions. On larger vessels, such as aircraft carriers, last resort systems like the Phalanx Gatling gun add automated protection, though they are rarely needed against pirates. When conditions allow, the Navy often prefers to capture rather than destroy pirate vessels. This responsibility falls to visit, board, search, and seizure teams, known as VBSS, which are composed of elite sailors trained in maritime interdiction. Using fast, rigid-hull inflatable boats, they approach and intercept suspect craft with precision. Once aboard, their tasks are clear: disarm the pirates, secure the crew, and search the vessel for evidence of piracy. Items such as grappling hooks, boarding ladders, or ransom notes often serve as proof of criminal intent. Captured individuals are then detained and, when appropriate, transferred to legal authorities for prosecution. While frigates and destroyers have occasionally found themselves directly engaging pirates, aircraft carriers exist in a very different category of protection. These ships are the centerpiece of American naval power, and several layers of defense ensure that pirates have virtually no chance of reaching them. Carriers always sail as part of a larger strike group, accompanied by cruisers, destroyers, and sometimes submarines, each assigned to guard against threats from sea or air. Their embarked air wings extend surveillance and control over hundreds of miles, spotting and tracking vessels long before they come close. In addition, strict security zones are enforced around the formation, where any unauthorized craft is quickly challenged and, if necessary, disabled. For this reason, while smaller surface combatants may face the occasional skirmish, carriers remain far beyond the reach of pirate tactics. In the end, pirates are not motivated by glory or suicidal ambition. They seek profit. Their tactics center on hijacking merchant ships, capturing crews, and demanding ransom payments. A U.S. aircraft carrier offers none of these rewards. Instead, any attempt to attack one guarantees swift destruction or capture. For that reason, pirates have long avoided carriers, focusing instead on vulnerable commercial traffic. The Navy's presence ensures that when pirates do stray too close, the response is decisive, leaving no doubt that these floating cities remain untouchable on the open sea.